Hello everyone, just going over a quick video about what's new in version 0.2.13 and just going to go over that and also what happened in 0.2.12. Basically 0.2.12 was just removing the gyro dynamic and dterm dynamic filters because they just didn't seem to work, and with the new filters we've got in the code, witchcraft and smart dterm smoothing, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to keep that there, so I got rid of those. And then in version 0.2.13 I've added this new piece of code called cinematic setpoint. This is something that I've been talking to Bob Ruge about for a little while, and basically this is a piece of code meant for really only for using when you're trying to fly cinematically. I don't see people liking this code unless you're trying to fly really smooth and cinematic and non super acro, because what this code does is it actually feeds off of your feed forward code. So if you've set that to on, whatever value you have for feed forward, that will basically increase how much your set point slows down. So the way that feed forward works is it looks at the change in your stick position, and that determines how it does things. And this piece of code, it looks at the change in your stick position, and based on that change in your stick position determines how much it's going to decrease the change in your set point. So normally you might move your stick to 200 degrees per second rotation, but you just kind of do a snap move to there, it would slow that down. So originally it would just take longer for it to reach 200, and if you just slowly move your stick, it's not really going to do anything. It's just those quicker, snappier movements that are going to be affected more by this. And then this feed forward transition, it works running a value of 100 will smooth less, and a value of 0 will smooth the most. So 0, it'll just have the same effect over the whole stick, and at 100, as you move up, it'll have less effect at the end of your stick the more you move this up. So if you're on 100, it'll have the least amount of effect at the end of your stick, but the most effect at the center. That's been added as well in these new pieces of code. I fixed the horizon code, so horizon should be working now. I did have to change the multiplier for feed forward in angle mode because it was just way too strong. I made it 100 times less strong, and it feels a lot better now. Still has an effect though. And if you're still wondering about some of that new angle code, don't use the PID tuning tab for that. Just come in here, type get angle, and right there you'll see it all. The angle expo, feed forward, PIDs. And so yeah, you've got the low PIDs and the high PIDs. The high PIDs come into effect more when you've got high angle error, and the low PIDs have more effect at that low value. And so the whole point is, if your high values are low, are much lower numbers, you can hit into walls and other objects and not have any issues. Instead of the quad just vacuuming to the wall or flipping out, it'll have less response at that high error values, and it won't do as much. And that's why, as you can see, the values that I'm running for the high are a lot lower. And yeah, and then there's the two feed forward, the F low and F high. The F low actually messes with the angle code, and the F high actually enables the normal feed forward to work in the angle code. This is the version that EmuFlight is thinking of adding, and this is a completely different one that pushes your stick. It basically pushes your actual angle set point, and this one does what normal feed forward does. And so they're two different things, have completely different feels, different things that they do. So I have to play with angle expo. So now instead of angle being linear, you can make it, give it an expo on your stick. And yeah, that's what's recently been added. So give some of that a test. Give that cinematic set point a test. Even if you hate the way it feels, I'd love to know if it actually does do its job of smoothing things more when you really kind of bash the sticks more. For me, I ran it really high. You saw I had F at 200 and I ran 0 for the feed forward, whatever they call it, the feed forward transition. And to me it felt sluggish, but in a weird way, because my rates were the same, and so it would eventually get to speed, but it would take it a bit longer to get to speed, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, that might be something good for cinematic flying, maybe not. Let me know. I'll be getting feedback from Bob Ruge as well. But anyways, have a good one, everyone. Bye.